Welcome, everyone. Today we're talking about something that affects nearly half of American families. It's what I call the gap. The gap is that financial in-between zone where you make too much to qualify for government assistance, but still not enough to comfortably cover your basic living cost. This presentation is all about education and empowerment. By the end, you'll understand why this happens, how to recognize it, and most importantly, what you can do about it. So let's get started. Let's start with the numbers because they tell a powerful story. 42% of American families, that's nearly 1 in every 2 households, are living in this gap right now. These aren't abstract statistics. This data comes from the Alice Report, asset limited, income constrained, employed. These are working families who show up every day and still can't make ends meet. The research shows this problem is widespread and it's growing. If you look around your community, your neighbors, your coworkers, and maybe even yourself, the gap is closer than you think. So why does this gap exist in the first place? A big part of the answer goes back to the 1960s. That's when the federal poverty level was created. It was based on the cost of food at that time multiplied by 3. That formula has barely been updated since. It doesn't account for where you live, whether that's New York City or rural Arkansas. It doesn't reflect modern costs like childcare, internet access, or today's healthcare prices. The poverty line is stuck in the past while real expenses have moved way ahead. And here's the kicker. A family can just be a few $100s over the income limit and suddenly all of their assistance gets cut off at once, not gradually, all at once. And that's what makes this so devastating. This is the slide I really want you to sit with because this is where the math tells the story. Take a family earning $52,000 a year. That sounds like, a decent income, right? But when you add up what life actually costs, we're talking $57,000 to $63,000. Look at each category: housing, childcare, transportation, food, healthcare, utilities. None of these are luxuries. Every single one is a basic need. And when you stack them all together, you get a gap of $5,000 to $11,000 every single year. I want to be really clear about something. This is not a spending problem. Nobody is blowing money on extras here. This is a system design problem. The math simply does not add up, and that's not the family's fault. Now let's zoom in into the big four, the 4 expense categories that hit the in-between families the hardest: childcare, housing, healthcare, and groceries. Any of these costs alone can destabilize a family's entire budget. A surprise medical bill, a rent increase, losing a child care subsidy, each one is enough to throw everything off track. But families in the gap aren't dealing with just one of these, they're dealing with all 4 at the same time. That's what makes it so overwhelming, and that's why we're going to break each one down over the next few slides. Let's start with childcare. It's the hidden tax on working families. In 34 states, childcare now costs more than rent. Think about that for a moment. The thing that makes it possible for you to go to work costs more than the roof over your head. Childcare subsidies exist, but they cut off way too early. Once you cross that income threshold, you're on your own, and families end up paying 20 to 30% of their take-home pay just on childcare. This is not a luxury expense. Childcare is what makes work possible. Without it, a parent has to choose between earning a paycheck and watching their kids. That's not a real choice. Now the double squeeze, rent and groceries hitting families from both sides. Since 2017, rent has gone up 54%, but wages, they've only gone up 43%. That 11-point gap comes straight out of your pocket every single month. And then you go to the grocery store, food prices are up 25% since 2020. Everything from eggs to bread to baby formula costs more than it did just a few years ago. Here's what makes it worse. SNAP benefits or food stamps, they cut off at around $39,000 for a family of 4. So if you make $40,000, you're expected to handle these rising food costs entirely on your own while also paying that higher rent. The squeeze is real. Healthcare is one of the scariest parts of the gap. When a family loses Medicaid coverage, they're pushed into the marketplace where plans can cost between $400 and $800 a month. And that's before the high deductible kicks in. There's a real gap zone where families earn too much for Medicaid but not enough to comfortably afford the marketplace coverage. That leaves people making impossible choices, like skipping prescriptions, avoiding the doctor, or going without coverage altogether. But here's some good news worth knowing. CHIP, the Children's Health Insurance Program, covers kids up to 200 to 400% of the federal poverty level in most states. So even if the parent loses coverage, the kids may still qualify. That's a lifeline every family should check. This is a slide I want you to save. Screenshot it, write it down, just keep it. Because these are programs that many families don't even know exist. We just talked about CHIP, the Children's Health Insurance Plan. We've got LIHEAP for help with energy bills, WIC for nutrition support for pregnant women and young children, and their sliding scale clinics, they charge based on what you can actually afford. Free and reduced school meals take pressure off the grocery budget, and 211 is a phone number you can call to get connected to local resources in your area. Here's the key point. Partial help adds up. You might not qualify for everything, but getting help with even one or two of these expenses can make the difference between falling behind and staying afloat. A lot of people simply don't know these programs are available to them. All right, so let's get practical. Here are 5 concrete steps you can take today, not next month, today. Step 1. Know your gross household income. That's the number before taxes, and most programs use that figure to decide eligibility. Step 2, call 211. It's free, confidential, and they'll connect you with every program available in your zip code. Step 3, apply even if you're not sure you qualify. The worst thing that happens is they say no, but you might be surprised. Step 4, look for the sliding scale options for health care, dental, and mental health services. Step 5, reapply every year. Programs update their income limits every January, so even if you didn't qualify last year, you might qualify now. And if you want help understanding these programs, I've created short, clear videos on most of them on my website. It's on sunnyvibes.com or on the Sunny Vibes YouTube channel. They walk you through what each program covers, who qualifies, and how to apply. Now let's bring it all together with the key takeaways. First, the gap is real. It's not in your head and it's not in your imagination. Second, partial help exists and it adds up when you stack multiple programs together. Third, know your numbers, your income, your expenses, and the cutoff limits for programs in your state. Fourth, apply for everything you might qualify. Don't self-disqualify. And fifth, and please hear this one, you are not bad with money. You are navigating a system that is not designed to keep up with real life. That's a very different thing. You'll see a reminder here that you've got this and I'm right here with you because you do and I am. And if you want to stay connected, follow Sunny Vibes, share this with someone who needs it, or contact me through my website. There's another reminder at the top of the page. Knowledge is the first step, and you deserve both the information and the support. Now here's the formal disclaimer. Everything in this presentation is for general educational purposes only. Nothing here is legal, medical, financial, or professional advice. For anything specific to your situation, always consult a licensed attorney, healthcare provider, or certified financial professional. And if you want resources like this, you can always find me at sunnyvibes.com. I've got more tools, more breakdowns, and more real-world guidance waiting for you there. And if there's a topic you want me to cover, something you've been wondering about, or something you wish someone just explain in plain English, hit the Contact Me button on my website and send me a message. Your questions literally shape what I create next.